Collins running out of real estate. Heads back upfield, 25 to the 30, the 35 to 40, the 45 to 50. He has only Kowalski to beat. Gets through him, the 10, and touchdown for Collins.
Duarte looks to throw. He fires toward the goal line, and that is caught by Kadeem Wilson for a game-winning Gators touchdown.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move, a shot, and he scores!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Sends one on goal, and he scores! Jonah Copray scores for the second time tonight.
And it is a power play goal! The pressure is there. Wilson putting it in the end zone. It is up for grabs. Did someone come down with it? No, incomplete. The Pharaohs are the 2022 EFA champions.
Live from South Shore Little League in Staten Island, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Tonight, we continue our second day of coverage with our second matchup of the evening as South Shore Little League takes on Cornwall Little League. Starting lineups are being introduced out on the field, and I do not have starting lineups, so I will turn it over to public address as starters are introduced. And on the other side of the introductions of the starters and the playing of the national anthem, we will have the start of tonight's game between South Shore and Cornwall.
And number 10, right fielder, Ryan Ruben. Coaches from Cornwall. Drew Van Dam, Pat Purcell, Jim Cosgrove, and Jeff Van Sickle. Ladies and gentlemen, your umpire this evening at first base is Dan DiClimo. The second base up, Larry Staten. Third base, George McGuire. And your home plate umpire in chief is Brian Meisler. Our tournament director this evening is Frank Henry.
Joe Foreman back with you from South Shore Little League as the host team, South Shore, gets set to take on Cornwall Little League. I apologize for the momentary silence, but I had to get the starting lineup for South Shore penciled onto my lineup card, and I do have that starting lineup. No positions yet. We will have those as we go. But the lineup for South Shore, identical to the lineup they sent out there yesterday in terms of batting order. Leading off, number 27, Anthony Conti. Batting second, number 3, Vincenzo Novello. Batting third, number 25, Dominic Napolitano. In the cleanup spot is number 44, Christian Falzone. Batting fifth is number 21, Vincenzo Lani. Batting sixth is number 1, Robert Esposito. Batting seventh is number 7, Nicholas Newbranch. Batting eighth is number 29, Stephen Grippo. Batting ninth, number 12, James Giovanone. Batting 10th, number 36, Angelo Regina. Batting 11th, number 35, Thomas McLean. Batting 12th, number 13, Jack Piccolo. And batting 13th, number 35, Brendan Swanson. Getting the start on the mound for Cornwall, number 9, Tyler Moss, as he gets set to deliver the first pitch of Game 2 tonight from South Shore. That's sliced foul, and we are underway in the second game of tonight's doubleheader. Comes the 0-1. And that's taken for a called strike 2. If I'm not speaking, it's because I'm trying to get the lineup. That's what we're working on right now, our defensive alignment. A lot of padlocks on those gates around home plate, and out of uniform. Just didn't feel right to walk straight out onto the field. I would have had to hop the fence to get on there, so decided to just eyeball it. And that pitch is in for a called third strike. The putout is complete over at first base. Moss strikes out the first batter that he faces in the game, and there's one away. That will bring up Vincenzo Novello. Novello had a go-ahead home run yesterday. Turned out to be the only offense South Shore would need, though there's an asterisk there, as they won the game via mercy rule. He's ahead in the count, 1-0 here. That's hit sharply and through the right side for a base hit. First base runner of the game for South Shore is Novello, and he is on with a one-out single. That will bring up Dominic Napolitano. He got the start yesterday. First pitch on its way to him. That's chopped toward third. Throw goes to first in time. And they get the out on Napolitano. Advancing to second is Novello, and there are two gone. That will bring up Christian Falzone. Falzone batting fourth, sees that pitch get to the backstop, and Novello thought about third, but wisely will stay put at second. Want to know the count? And that gets to the backstop, off the padding, and right back into the glove of the backstop, Finn Merrill. We did get that. Merrill is behind the plate. Tyler Moss completes the battery for Cornwall. 2-0 the count on Christian Falzone. And he looks at a strike. Early opportunity with a runner in scoring position for South Shore. And there is no standing room available here at South Shore Little League. Perhaps in the right field corner. But that's about it. This place is absolutely packed for this late night primetime matchup between the hosts South Shore and Cornwall. A nice contingent for both sides, but once again South Shore will absolutely enjoy a home field advantage. As Falzone held the swing, he draws a walk, and there are now two on for Vincenzo Lanni. Lanni officially 1-for-1 yesterday, drew a walk, singled, and then was thrown out at the plate trying to score on a base hit. Looked like he might have tweaked something, but it's good to see him in the lineup. He's okay. I believe he did come out of the game yesterday as a result. He did limp off, but not showing any ill effects right now as the count evens up at 1-1 strike. One and one on its way, and that's fouled back. Moss now one strike away for bringing this first inning to a close. South Shore hopes they have something to say about that. One and two coming. And there's a swing and a miss for strike three. Moss strikes out Lanni to retire the side. South Shore strands two in the opening inning. No score heading to the bottom of the first.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
We are back from South Shore Little League. No score. Headed to the bottom half of the first inning. South Shore stranded a pair in their half of inning number 1. And now Cornwall will get their first chance at the plate. They will face Anthony Conti out on the mound for South Shore. Leading off for Cornwall will be the catcher, number 45, Finn Merrill. As I mentioned, Merrill behind the plate, catching Tyler Moss in this one. He will get first look at Anthony Conti in this game. There's a big swing and a miss by Merrill for strike 1. That was a big first pitch cut. Comes the 0-1. That misses. And the 1-1 bounces in. That pitch well short of the plate. Merrill now ahead in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. And he was out in front on that swing, as the count evens up at 2. That's bounced on the ground right side. And the out is recorded over at first by Grippo. Steps on the bag. And there's one away. Number 19, Sage Caesar, getting the start at shortstop tonight for Cornwall. He comes to the plate here. Base is empty, 1 out. Same way the top half of the inning started for South Shore. They followed up a strikeout to open the game with a base hit. And that's slapped foul down the third base line. Look at a new baseball. Out to the mound for Conti. Caesar steps out. And we await the 0-1 pitch. Conti delivers. That's in for a called strike 2. Caesar, taking his time, has stepped out between each of the last 2 pitches and asked for time behind the plate, as he will step out again. And now there's going to be a conversation here on the infield. Vincenzo Novello got the start behind the plate yesterday, so until I'm told otherwise, I'm going to assume that's him. As I mentioned, I did not get starting lineups. I have the full batting order for South Shore, and most of their defense, that is Novello behind the plate. Right now, the only player in the field I'm missing for South Shore is the right fielder, and that was Nicholas Newbranch yesterday. As that swung on and missed for strike 3, and that elicits a nice roar from the South Shore contingent in the stands. 2 gone in the home first inning. And the pitcher, Tyler Moss, will be the batter. Moss looks at ball one. I don't think we've called a half inning that has had a pace as slow as this one. And we're only 2 batters deep for Cornwall. That pitch misses for ball 2. Now, Sage Caesar was a big part of that, but perhaps a bit of extra time taken by Conti relative to his peers as that pitch is in for a called strike. Two and one pitch upcoming as signs are still coming in from the third base coaching box. And that pitch is in at the knees for a called strike 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Pitch on its way, and that's swung on and missed. Good breaking ball from Conti. And Moss goes down swinging to bring the first inning to a close. No runs, no hits, no errors in the home half of inning number 1. We head to the second. Still scoreless.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
We are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you from South Shore Little League, where there was no score entering the second inning. For those of you perhaps tuning in a bit late, this game was delayed an hour and 15 minutes from the original 8 p.m. scheduled start time. We had inclement weather that pushed our first game back an hour and a half. That game got underway at approximately 6:30. Plainview Little League took the win over Maine Endwell Little League. Both of those teams 1-1. Cornwall hopes to move to 1-1 and to drop South Shore to 1-1. South Shore looking to lock up a spot in the semifinal as Robert Esposito opens this inning with a big swing and miss and then takes ball 1 as that skips to the backstop. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's hit out to right. Falling fast, and that's a nice diving catch in right field. We will get a second look at that one. Brendan Dwyer with a great sliding grab, and we will clip that and get a look at the replay in just a few moments. You'll get a look at that one from our wide shot as Dwyer came charging in to make the sliding catch. We'll wait until after this next pitch. 1 away in the inning as that's taken for ball 1. Here's another look at that last play. There you see Dwyer making a break in, sliding grab out in right field. Nicely done defensively as that pitch skips to the backstop and the count is now 2-0. Esposito robbed of a base hit there. And that will send Nicholas Newbranch to the plate. And on a 2-ball count, he looks at a called strike. That ball's hit sharply to second. Throw goes to first in time. And there are 2 gone. So we do have the entire defensive alignment for Cornwall for you. I'll give you that right now. From first to third on the infield, we have Sterling Hayes, Nate Van Dam, Sage Caesar, and Kieran Purcell. In the outfield, left to right, we have Ryan Ruhan in left, Hunter Lant in center, and Brendan Dwyer in right. As I mentioned before, Finn Merrill behind the plate. Tyler Moss on the bump. That pitch taken down and away for ball one. Stephen Grippo, the South Shore first baseman, at the plate. Grippo had an RBI double in yesterday's game. Check that. It was an RBI single. He advanced to second on the throw. Nonetheless, had an RBI base hit. Officially 1 for 2. And he was hit on that 1-1 pitch. He'll take first base. And South Shore now has a 2-out base runner. That will bring up James Giovanone. Giovanone officially 0 for 1 yesterday with a walk. Did score a run in that game. Taking a look down the lineup sheet, the majority of players in the lineup for South Shore yesterday scored a run, and perhaps that's not very surprising as they did have a 10-run inning in the game, but still impressive nonetheless. First pitch in to Giovanone for a called strike at one point in the fourth inning. 12 straight batters reached. Make it 11. That's hit to the left side. Throw goes to first in time, and the side is retired. South Shore strands one runner on base. He reached via a hit by pitch, and we head to the home half of inning number 2. Still no score. We are back for the bottom half of the second inning. Still no score between South Shore and Cornwall. Host South Shore turned aside in each of the first 2 innings. They had a couple of base runners in the first, 1 base runner in the second. And now Cornwall will have the opportunity to score the game's first run here in the bottom half of inning number 2. If I get quiet, it's to get the lineup. And it will be Kieran Purcell batting out of the number 4 spot in the Cornwall lineup. I'll add that to my scorecard. We're very slowly filling out the scorecard. And Purcell taking his time getting in the box, which is perfect for me. As we get set to begin the bottom half of the second, that's tapped foul down the third base line, and the count goes to 0-1. 1-2-3 inning on the mound for Anthony Conti. As that one sliced foul. Now, live chat requesting a zoomed view. We have the pitcher-batter camera and the wide shot. Not sure we could get any closer. Maybe on the secondary shot we could, but then we lose the right side of the infield, which we do have on the pitcher-batter camera, so we might be able to live without that. So that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. Throw goes to first, and Purcell is retired. So what we'll do, since we have the right side, well, relative to me, the right side of the infield, we have the left side of the infield. Good view of that. What we'll do is zoom in our other camera angle just a bit. Take care of that in between innings. Right fielder Brendan Dwyer at the plate. Dwyer ahead in the count, 1-0. Made a great diving catch out in right field during the previous half inning. And now he works in a 2-ball count at the plate. You know I'm right. He's not in the building. Not in the building tonight. Communicating from the outside, but not here, unfortunately. That's chopped foul. Count goes to 3-1. Three-1 on its way, and that misses down and away. Now, I had that as ball 4. Looks like that was ball 3. And that indeed was ball 3. I think the scoreboard in center field also had 3 balls up there as well. So, double confusion. So that's hit to third. Throw across the diamond in time. And there are 2 outs in the inning. That will bring up Hunter Lant. He gets the start in center. And he takes ball 1. Unfortunately, I've had to rely on the center field scoreboard a bit more than I expected as I'm trying to fill out the scorecard as we go. We're almost there. You know I'm right. Once again, for the second consecutive game, there are 4 umpires here tonight. That pitch misses low. We do have 3 infield umpires and 1 behind the plate. 4 umpires tonight. Count 2-1. That's sliced foul. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lant. 2 away here in the home second. Conti's pitch. Well short of the plate. Off the chest protector of the catcher into the backstop. Count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch on its way. That's taken down and away for ball 4. Good at bat by Lant. Those have been very important throughout the last couple of days for more than one team. And for Cornwall, especially in this game, needing a win to keep their hopes of a berth in the semifinal alive. Those at bats loom even larger. Sterling Hayes will be the batter. Hayes getting the start at first base tonight. Comes to the plate here. 2 outs and a runner on first. That base runner, Lant over at first, who drew the walk, is the first base runner of the game for Cornwall. That pitch is fouled off. Hayes, a left-handed bat. And the infield is shifted accordingly. Over at shortstop, Christian Falzone. A couple of steps towards second. Not an extreme shift, as that's fouled back. Going on a tangent for a moment, I absolutely hate the new shifting rule in Major League Baseball. I think I'm in the majority on that one, but perhaps some in the chat may disagree. I am not a fan of those rules at all. As that's fouled away, if a player can't hit the ball into a vacated left side of the infield, which is typically the case, Usually it's the left side vacated for the left-handed pull hitter. And that pitch is in for a called strike 3. So Hayes goes down looking. I'll continue to rant about the shift a bit later. And when we come back, we'll get started in the top half of inning number 3. Still no score between South Shore and Cornwall. And we are back from South Shore Little League as Angelo Regina will lead things off here in the 3rd inning. No score between South Shore and Cornwall as that pitch is chopped foul. And the 3rd inning begins with strike 1. Comes the 0-1. It's grounded to 3rd. Nice play on the short hop. Throw across the diamond a bit high, but keeping his foot anchored to the bag was Hayes. Nicely done by both corner infielders on that play. First Purcell, then Hayes. And there's one away on the 5-3 putout. That would bring up Thomas McLean. First at bat of the day for him. Hit a grand slam in yesterday's game. Not many players can say that they hit a postseason grand slam. So that had to be a big moment for him. Pitch on its way. That misses out of the zone. Moss delivers, and that's at the knees for a strike. That's chopped past the mound, played it short by Caesar. Low throw is scooped at first. Another great play by Hayes. 2 gone in the inning. Nicely done once again by Hayes over at first base. First, he kept his foot anchored to the bag for the inning's first out. And on that last play, he scoops a tough short hop on that throw. And there are now 2 gone. First pitch of the at-bat misses for ball 1 to Jack Piccolo, and they will allow South Shore to get players down in the bullpen back to the dugout. Here comes the 1-0. That's a called strike. One and one the count. That's fouled back. One and two the count. Long look in here from Moss. And time was called by the batter. So with that long look in, Piccolo electing to call time. It was granted at probably the last possible moment. Here comes the 1-2. That's chopped foul. Piccolo fighting off some tough pitches here in a 2-strike count. Looking to keep this inning going. Another 1-2. That's hit well to left center, falling fast, and that's down for a hit. Ball comes in, and holding it first is Jack Piccolo with a 2-out single. For South Shore, that hit is their second of the game. It's their 4th base runner. This one comes with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. That will bring up Brendan Swanson. And Swanson takes a strike. Swanson had a base hit and scored a run yesterday, as that's lined straight into the glove of Caesar over at short. And he has some size over there at short. He needed it on that grab as the top half of the 3rd inning comes to a close. Once again, South Shore strands 1 on base. Still no score, headed to the home half of inning number 3. In our second matchup on this day 2 here at South Shore 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
And we are back from South Shore Little League, and a shout out to the press box behind the plate. I got the lineups via relay text messages at about 9:13. Did not check my messages after that time, so that was a bit unfortunate. We had the lineups. They just came in 2 minutes before first pitch, as that is sliced foul. The good news is I can refer to them right here, as I missed the announcement of the current batter. And going down on strikes is Mike Cosgrove, one of the extra hitters for Cornwall. And very quickly, there's 1 out here in the home 3rd inning. Attempt at a bunt there by Nate Van Dam. He comes up empty. Oh, and 1 the count, and that skips in for a ball. They'll get a new baseball back out to the mound once again. That pitch is off the inside corner for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike the count on the Cornwall second baseman. Pitch on its way, and that misses for ball 3. And that will prompt a conference at the mound. South Shore will talk this one over with their entire infield assembled. Van Dam looks back toward the third base coaching box for the signs in this 3-ball count. Comes the 3-1. And that misses for ball 4. So Van Dam draws a 1-out walk. Second base runner of the game for Cornwall. Extra hitter number 42, Luke Van Sickle at the plate. He hits one a mile high on the infield, and that is caught just beyond the mound by Conti for the second out. Two away now in the home third, as Van Sickle is retired on 1 pitch. And that will bring Mike Cressman to the plate. 2 away now. And we haven't seen much offense in this game. Cornwall still without a hit. South Shore with just a couple, and this looks awfully familiar after watching our first game yesterday. Not much scoring early, as that's chopped toward the left side. Nice backhanded stop at short, throw to second in time. And I'm not sure if he made his way into the frame on the backhand, but Christian Falzone made a nice stop before getting the force at second for the final out of the inning. Cornwall strands 1, still no score through 3 from South Shore Little League. We'll be right back.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from South Shore Little League as we are set to begin the 4th inning. Still no score, and I touched on it before the break, but this game looking a lot like the first game I covered yesterday. Plainview and South Shore, low-scoring affair, entering the 4th inning. And then in the home 4th, South Shore erupted. However, they bat in the top half of inning number 4 today, looking for their first run of the night in front of many supporters here at their home field. And that's lined out toward right center. That's down for an extra base hit. That ball rolls all the way to the fence and sliding into second base safely with a leadoff double is the leadoff hitter, Anthony Conti, back to the top of the lineup for South Shore, and immediate results for the visitors. That's as well as they've hit a ball in this game. 3rd hit of the game for South Shore. And Conti is on base for the first time tonight. That pitches into Vincenzo Novello for a called strike 1. Novello at the plate, 1 for 1, singled back in the 1st inning. Tying his shoe at second is Conti. Oh and 1 the count on the South Shore catcher. Big opportunity to move the runner to third at the very least. A base hit could give South Shore the lead as the count evens up at 1-1. That pitch gets away to the backstop, and Conti will advance. I don't envy the official score on that one. Impossible for me to tell if that one bounced or if it was off the catcher's glove. And Cornwall is going to bring the infield all the way in here. They will not concede a run as we are past the midway point in this game. And with no outs, you could say we are right at the midway point in this game. No score as we play in the top half of the fourth. Pitch from Moss on the way, and that's foul back. So with a 2-strike count here, Moss has an opportunity to pick up a huge strikeout. That won't do it, as that one nearly got away from Merrill behind the plate. That pitch missed way upstairs, and the count is now full at 3-2. Payoff pitch coming. And that's it well out to right field, where the catch was made. Sacrifice fly as the right fielder was obstructed behind the light fixture right in front of our perch. However, that will get the job done. Sacrifice fly for Vincenzo Novello, and South Shore has taken the lead 1-0. That's exactly what South Shore was looking for in that spot, is I think they just appealed over at third. That appeal to no avail. The run does count. And that pitch that got away was a big one. It goes down on my scorecard as wild pitch / pass ball. Too hard to tell from up here. But either way, that was a very big pitch that allowed the runner Conti to advance to third. And right now, that's the difference in the game, as another pitch gets away, and all of a sudden, Moss is having trouble finding the strike zone. He had hit one batter and walked one batter entering this inning and had allowed just 2 base hits. Was pitching well. But he has allowed the first run of the game here in the road fourth. Though the bases are empty now with 1 out. Clean slate for the Cornwall starting pitcher as that misses down and away. Count 2-0 now. And again, that one bounces to the backstop. So all of a sudden, Moss can't find the strike zone. Doesn't have to pitch too carefully here with the bases empty. Dominic Napolitano at the plate. Hasn't gotten anything to hit. Comes the 3-0. And that misses for ball 4. And Moss didn't like that call. Thought he caught the knees there. You can see it. He's exasperated out on the mound. There is action in the Cornwall bullpen. Luke Van Sickle, I believe, is the one throwing. He is. I was making sure he wasn't the one catching. And there's going to be a conference at the mound now. Perhaps to give Van Sickle some time and get him in. Perhaps to try and stop the bleeding here. This is only a 1-run game. And Cornwall's tournament life is on the line. If they lose tonight, they are done. Effectively, they do have one more game to play, win or lose. However, they will not be competing for a spot in the semifinals if they lose. And the pitching change is forthcoming, so that's a job well done by Jim Cosgrove, buying as much time for his reliever as he could. An extensive conversation at the mound. They waited for the umpire to make his way to the rubber, or in this case, perhaps, the plastic, as I'm not sure the mound is made of rubber here on the turf field. This might be a plastic mound. Nonetheless, the pitching change comes. It is indeed Luke Van Sickle coming out of the bullpen, and with that, we will step aside for a 1-minute break. When we come back, new pitcher For Cornwall, they look to keep this a one-run game in the top half of the fourth. And we are back from South Shore Little League. New pitcher into the game, Luke Van Sickle, as he takes over out of the Cornwall bullpen, looking to keep this a one-run game. Cornwall scored just twice yesterday, so at this point in the game, playing in the fourth inning, that has to be mildly concerning. Also, you see it on your screen right now. A 0 in the hit column as well. They have had 2 base runners, both coming on walks, but no base hits yet for the home team. And in just about every game I've covered, at least one of the 2 teams has not picked up a hit at the midway point. And that's a testament to the pitching. We've seen some very good pitching so far in the games this week. Keep in mind the 85 pitch limit as well, and that has placed a constraint on some outings in the games we've covered, as play is set to resume with Christian Falzone at the plate. He made a nice play over at short earlier as well, and he looks at a called strike. Falzone drew a walk his first time up. 1 out here in the fourth. That's in for a called strike 2. That's exactly what you like to see from your pitcher coming out of the bullpen. 2 quick strikes, especially against the number 4 hitter. Falzone takes up and away. The pace here, unmatched by the pacing at any point in this game. Van Sickle working quickly, and that's fouled off. That's fouled back, so live chat has spoken. Cornwall not mathematically eliminated with a loss. I thought I checked it out on the matchup sheet earlier, but I must have missed something, as the matchups may allow for Cornwall to sneak in. Even if they lose this game, that's it right back to the mound. Throw goes to second just in time, and they just got the out over at second base. That was awfully close. 2 away in the inning now. So thanks once again to the live chat for breaking it down. They would need to win on Thursday and would need South Shore to beat Maine Endwell. And as of right now, they would win the tiebreaker, which is based on runs allowed. So the tiebreaker, I assumed, would be head-to-head since all of the teams play each other. But instead, it looks like the first tiebreaker is runs allowed. That's something to keep in mind. Cornwall, technically still alive, would need some help from South Shore, but you never know. 0-2, just so tough to come back from because it takes your fate out of your own control. The 4 teams that we've covered tonight here on PDF, back in action on Thursday over at Great Kills. At the plate, Vincenzo Lanni, he called for time. He's 0 for 1, struck out his first time up. That pitch misses away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So regardless of what happens in this game, there's still hope for every team in this pool. As that is scorched up the middle for a base hit. It rolls all the way to the fence as it was misplayed on the backhand in center. Heading home and beating the throw for the second run of the game is Falzone. It's an RBI double off the bat of Vincenzo Lanni. And with that base hit, South Shore takes a 2-0 lead. That ball was scorched into the outfield, and we'll get another look at it in just a few moments. But that is a big 2-out base hit for South Shore. It goes for extra bases and gives them a 2-run lead. As we have a conference at the mound right now, we'll take another look at it. We caught the tail end of that swing. As you'll see the batter taking off on that base hit. That ball was misplayed by Lant in center. He tried to backhand it, and as a result, it rolled all the way to the fence. That was the difference between the run coming home and the run not scoring. So that's going to go down as an error in center, and that will actually negate the RBI. So no run batted in there. That was certainly an error in center. That ball was hit hard, but it could have been stopped. Good base running to score the run by Falzone as that's fouled away. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Robert Esposito. That pitch nearly got away, and Lanni was thinking about it. He had his sights set on home plate. And to his credit in center, Lant made that a much closer play than I expected at the plate. Once that got all the way to the fence, I was certain the run would score. But that was a very strong throw from center field to make that close at the plate. Good effort in center after the ball got under his glove. If he just keeps the ball in front of him, that saves the run. He didn't need to field it cleanly. Just had to get a glove on it. Two and one the count. And that's hit into the outfield where that ball is ruled down for a hit. Throw goes to second. The runner is out. And we were awaiting the ruling from the outfield umpire. We'll clip that replay as well. The look at it won't be great, but the inning is over and the run scores. It's now 3-0 in favor of South Shore, but we'll get another look at that replay as we were awaiting a call from the umpire behind second base. That ball just got down. Here you see that swing. And you'll see near the left side of the screen, that was actually the center fielder making the diving attempt. That was Lant in center, who nearly made the play. He was backed up in right field by Dwyer, who already has a huge catch in this game. But that ball gets down, and South Shore now has a 3-run lead. And with the extended look at the replay, I will put my headset down for just a moment, and we will be right back. No commercial break here, as you'll get a look at some more warm-up tosses ahead of the home fourth inning for Anthony Conti. After a brief silence, we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as that's hit well out to left field, but the catch is made by Piccolo for a very quick out number 1. At the plate there was TJ Santiago. He went down on just one pitch. As Ryan Ruhan will be the batter, and he fouls that one back. At bat of the game. First for Santiago, this the first for Ruhan. Ruhan behind 0-1, and time is called from behind the plate. Ruhan, the number 13 hitter in the lineup for Cornwall. Count even at 1-1 as once again a conversation will take place at the mound. Novello having a word with his pitcher Conti here. We can barely make out the count on the scoreboard, but we can't make out the pitch count. So that's chopped toward the middle. Handled it short, strong throw to first by foul zone in time. And there are two away. This is exactly what Conti and South Shore were looking for here. They take the lead, going in front by 3 runs. Once again, they strike in the 4th inning of a game, as we saw yesterday. And from their pitcher, they are 1 out away from a quick 1-2-3 inning. Back to the top of the order for Cornwall. Finn Merrill, the batter. As he gets ahead 1-0. And that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. That's hit well out to right, down the line, foul ball. That ball was hit well by Merrill, but he couldn't keep it fair. And the count goes to 1-2. They get a new baseball out to the mound, and we've seen a lot of that. Requesting a replacement ball and pitcher-catcher conversations tonight. The infield has joined some of those as that's in for a called strike 3. Merrill goes down looking, and the side is retired. South Shore maintains their 3-run advantage as we head to the 5th. It's getting late here at South Shore Little League as we begin the top half of the 5th inning. Just past 10:15 here on Staten Island. And for Cornwall, They are down to their final 6 outs in this game. South Shore leads it by 3. Just as we saw yesterday, South Shore scoring for the first time in the 4th inning after some very strong pitching from both sides through the first 3. 5 hits in the game for the visitors. Cornwall still without a hit. They have had base runners, but haven't been able to make much of it. A couple of batters reaching on walks, and that's it. South Shore will send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate here in the 5th inning. New Branch, Grippo, Giovanone. Luke Van Sickle back to the mound for Cornwall. The good news for Cornwall is that they only allowed 4 runs in their first game, have only allowed 3 here in this game. Now, if the definitive tiebreaker is runs allowed, and there's no head-to-head tiebreaker, which to my understanding is the case, runs allowed being the tiebreaker, that bodes well for them because Plainview allowed 10 in a game. They won earlier. Maine Endwell, I don't believe, has allowed as many runs as Cornwall. I have to double check that, get the scores from the last couple of days, but I think that's the case. So they would need some help, but there is certainly hope. Plainview certainly hoping that they don't tie in the standings anywhere after allowing 11. I mistakenly said 10. They allowed 11 in their first game. Count here, 2 balls and 1 strike. New Branch at the plate, 0 for 1 tonight. He fouls that one back. And they're going to check on Finn Merrill behind the plate now. He's a bit shaken up. Looks like he was contacted by that last foul ball. So they'll tend to him for just a few moments. He's still down on a knee. Well, this is a good time to double check those run differentials. If South Shore were to finish 3-0, which Cornwall would need, their run differential, or runs allowed, I should say, that would not matter. Our early game finished 8-2, so with the 8th spot that Maine Endwell allowed, that definitely helps Cornwall should 3 teams finish 1-2. So far, Maine Endwell has allowed 10 runs total, 2 against Cornwall and then 8 more against Plainview. So if there are 3 teams that finish 1-2, Cornwall very well could finish ahead of the other 2. So I misspoke earlier. The big game allowed yesterday by Plainview and the big game allowed by Maine Endwell definitely could come back to factor in to the final standings. As that's it out toward right, and that falls in shallow right center for a base hit. We've seen that more than once already. Fly balls into the outfield, just dropping maybe 10 or 15 feet beyond the infield. Some tough luck so far tonight for Cornwall in that regard. And South Shore has a leadoff base runner. Stephen Grippo will come to the plate here. Grippo was hit by a pitch his first time up. That's taken out of the zone for ball 1. And time is called for and granted. So at the very least, every team in this pool will be alive entering Thursday. And I have to say, I'm excited about that, as that is ripped into right center. That's down for a base hit. Looking to go first to third is New Branch, and he is into third base. Standing runners on the corners now for South Shore, and still nobody out in the inning. We will get a chance to get one more look at that last swing on replay in just a moment. That ball was ripped out into right center by Grippo. James Giovanone, the batter, as he awaits the first pitch. That's bunted toward third, and it takes a bounce foul. You'll see those bounces on turf sometimes. That ball hit what would be the infield grass on a non-turf field and bounced like a handball into foul territory. Now, great job as always by the chat. There is also a chance that 3 teams could finish 2-1. And that makes things complicated as well. So, a lot of potential scenarios that we will have to contend with the rest of the week. But there is no doubt that it's going to be a very exciting Thursday over at Great Kills. And we hope you'll join us for those games as well. If Nick does not have a functioning vehicle, I will go get him, and we'll make sure we have Nick Bavona back on Thursday. The most important third member of the commentary team over at Great Kills is going to be the sunblock. If anyone has seen me this week, I'm not doing too well in regards to sunburning. Called the game in a jacket yesterday, but was already burnt prior to the start of our coverage. It's been very hot. I do not envy the players out there on the field in that regard. Now, we do have a delay down on the field. I'm not exactly sure why. There's a conversation going on in front of home plate right now, and I do think perhaps the catcher, Finn Merrill, had to come out of the game. I'm trying to get a look, and I think he's still in. He's still at the mound, so he is in the game. Thought maybe after they checked on him, he decided to pull the plug, but he stays in. When play resumes, runners will be on the corners for South Shore. Still nobody out. And they've really hit their stride at the plate once again in this inning. Or I should say in the 4th inning for the 2nd consecutive day. They're not going to be an easy team to beat under any circumstances, but looks like your best bet may be to save some bullets in the chamber on the mound for late in games. You always hate to play from behind, but this team has really found their rhythm at the plate beyond the midway point each of the last 2 days. And once the 4th inning has started, the bats have really heated up. Still no word on what's causing the delay. And the base runners for South Shore are back in the dugout. So with the base runners having left the field, I will take a brief break. And when we come back, perhaps all of this will be sorted out. South Shore leading Cornwall by a score of 3-0 in the top half of the 5th.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
we're back from South Shore Little League. Still no word on what the delay was for. Unfortunately, I'm a bit too far away to get that information from about, I'd say, 30 or 40 feet above the left field fence, and I'd say maybe 30 feet beyond the wall. Have to be about a max of 250 feet away from home plate tonight. As very quickly, Van Sickle misses with 2 straight. He's behind 2-0. Loading the bases wouldn't be the worst thing here. The bunt certainly on the table, and there's no doubt Cornwall will respect the bunt. Though I would not expect the bunt in this spot. That's hit sharply down the line for a base hit. 1-run will score. Heading home is Grippo. Throw to the plate. Not in time. And South Shore goes in front 5-0. That's a 2 RBI single off the bat of James Giovanone. And South Shore has some extra cushion as we play in the 5th. Hopefully we'll get one more look at that in just a moment. Not sure if we caught the swing on replay. And we sure did. So we'll get another look at that run-scoring base hit, the 8th of the game for South Shore. And it looks like that may prompt a pitching change in this spot. We will see. Now, last time Jim Cosgrove visited the mound, he took his time before making a pitching change, waited for the home plate umpire to get there, and then decided to bring in a new pitcher. Here's one more look at that last hit. We'll also get a look at the play in just a moment. Here's how close it was at home. Definitely a chance to get an out, but the runner in there probably a step or two ahead of the throw. Here's a look. I think a step or two is an accurate assessment there. As Van Sickle is staying in the game as of right now. He's still on the mound. And it appears Cornwall is going to send another arm down to the bullpen. When the action resumes, James Giovanone stands over at second base. 2 RBIs for him on that last base hit. Grippo and Newbranch both scored. And Angelo Regina is the batter. Still nobody out in the inning. And Regina takes down and in for ball 1. Regina 0 for 1 at the plate. Pitch on its way from Van Sickle, and that's hit well out toward right center field. That splits the gap and rolls all the way to the fence for an extra base hit. In to score is Giovanone, and in at second base, standing with an RBI double, is Angelo Regina. 6-0 now in favor of South Shore. They have broken this game wide open, and the runs that Cornwall has allowed here could loom large if we end up in a tie-breaking scenario after Thursday's action. But South Shore has been slugging here in this 5th inning. Still nobody out, and they have opened the inning with 4 straight base hits. The first 2 singles, the last 2 both doubles, and they now lead by 6 runs. And you have to love to see this from the bottom half of the lineup as well. They opened this inning with the number 7 hitter, batters 7, 8, 9, and 10, all with hits. And for South Shore, the last 6 batters have recorded base hits. However, one was thrown out at second, trying to extend an RBI single into a double. That was Robert Esposito in the previous inning. So a very unorthodox situation where South Shore has 6 straight hits. One of those came on a play that ended an inning. When the action resumes, Thomas McLean will be the batter. He's 0 for 1. And will get an opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Taking a look at the live chat right now as tie-breaking scenarios are being discussed. And what I'll do ahead of Thursday is try and sort everything out. And maybe we can prepare a graphic for everyone at home. Now, looking down very quickly at the chat, the discussion revolves around 3 teams that will have each beaten each other and then runs against would be the tiebreaker in that scenario as that one bounces away for ball 1. And holding at second is Regina. And 1-0 is fouled straight back. So something interesting to note as well, should it come down to a tiebreaker, is that's crushed out to right center, and that is off the fence for another extra base hit. McLean heads into second, slides in safely, and in to score is Regina. It is an RBI double for Thomas McLean, and South Shore now leads it by 7. What an inning this has been for the visitors playing in their home complex. They have not been the home team in either of their 2 games. That has not mattered much, as they have had the support of this crowd, and they've gotten the chance to make a lot of noise here in this inning. As South Shore now in front 7-0. That pitch taken low for ball 1 by Jack Piccolo. 3 straight RBI doubles for South Shore as the throw goes to first there for the out. Advancing to third was McLean. That will bring up Brendan Swanson.
Now to play number 33, Brendan Swanson, number 33.
So finally, Cornwall gets the first out of the inning. These outs still matter very much, as we had a pitching change as well. Neglected to mention that after the base hit came early in that at-bat by McLean. Or check that, Piccolo. But the new pitcher is Hunter Lunt. He got the start in center field, which means we have a new center fielder as that gets to the backstop. And the count runs to 2-0. Two-0 pitch on its way. That misses inside for ball 3. So we spoke about it before. Maine Endwell has allowed 10 runs thus far. Cornwall has now allowed 11. So, as I mentioned, looking ahead to tiebreakers, which come into play more and more as this game has gotten out of hand, Cornwall needs to try and keep the run total for South Shore down. That's something that's going to be on their mind if they don't pull off a miraculous comeback, as the runner does hold at third there, and they get the out over at first. 2 away in the inning now. That will bring up Anthony Conti. I was about to touch on it ahead of the base hit. I believe it was 3 at-bats ago now. But Plainview will have Brandon Eisenstein eligible to pitch on Thursday, and he pitched really well against South Shore before being removed after a 2-out walk. I believe it was a 2-out walk. Might have to double-check that. Perhaps a 1-out walk. Either way, he came out of the game with a low pitch count as that's lined down the left field line, and all the way to the wall. It is another South Shore RBI double. This time it's Anthony Conti. He chases home Piccolo, make that McLean. And with that, South Shore ahead 8-0. Now, for those who are familiar with your typical scorecard, only 9 slots. Once you get past the 9th place hitter, the boxes to track what each batter has done and the names do not line up. So sometimes it gets a little difficult to track the runners on base beyond the 9 spot in the order. However, McLean in to score. It's an RBI double for Conti. That is the 4th double of the inning for South Shore. And once again, that prompts a conference at the mound and another pitching change. So if I'm not mistaken, Lant came in and faced just 4 batters. Short outing for him. Allowed a couple of doubles and recorded the first 2 outs. Chat still trying to figure out the potential tiebreakers, but in an 8-run game, gives us a lot to think about. We still play in the 5th, so Cornwall has 6 outs to play with. But South Shore has shown no indication that their lead is unsafe. They have gotten great pitching in each of their first 2 games, which makes things very tough on any of their opponents. New pitcher into the game. Looks like Kieran Purcell, and that is indeed Purcell, who is the new pitcher for Cornwall. By my tally, South Shore is up to 11 hits. I'll take a moment to double check that right now. And 11 is indeed the correct hit tally. So double-digit hits for the visitors. And Cornwall could be in danger of potentially falling behind by 10 in this inning, which would put them down to their last 3 outs. However, it would take either a couple more base hits or perhaps one big swing to make it a 10-run lead for South Shore. Now, it will be interesting to see if Anthony Conti comes back out. You have to think no with this game well in hand. You, of course, would like to save him for potential games down the line, especially given how he's pitched tonight. But South Shore has gotten good pitching from their starters each of the last 2 games, and they have not had to push them too deep. First pitch from Purcell on its way. That's hit through the left side and into left field for a base hit. Rounding third and heading to the plate into score is Conti. Advancing on the throw is Novello. It is another RBI base hit for South Shore. They lead it by 9. 12 hits in the game now for South Shore. That will officially go down as an RBI single with an advance on the throw. And South Shore is really pouring it on here in this inning. We are still playing in the 5th. And now a base hit could make it a 10-run game, as I mentioned before. And that, of course, matters in regard to the mercy rule. As that pitch misses for ball 1. To Dominic Napolitano. And they're going to issue an intentional walk here. In response to the live chat, the mercy rule that they played by yesterday was 10 runs. The game ended with the score 11-1. I believe the 11th run came home bottom 5, so South Shore won it in 5 over Plainview by a score of 11-1. They need to score one more time. Over at softball, it's 8 runs through 5. At least at the collegiate level, that's the case. And Christian Falzone takes ball 1. Falzone officially 0 for 1, but has reached base twice. When he got on, it was via a fielder's choice, as that's blooped down the right field line. Fair ball, base hit, and the bases are now loaded for South Shore. This team just keeps on hitting, and it seems that even the Flares managed to find open real estate, as Cornwall is just desperate for a third out right now. In this inning, South Shore now has 8 base hits. Their total for the game up to 13. Vincenzo Lanni, the batter. And he takes ball 1. Lanni at the plate with a double. Advanced to third on an error in center field. Once again, a discussion going on at the mound. That conversation is broken up. Lanni ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes here. Pitch on its way, and that's swung on and missed. That pitch misses outside. And that's hit foul down the third base line, out of play. So in response to the chat, the CUNY mercy rule for softball, as far as I know, applies to all collegiate softball at the Division II and Division III level, at least every game I've ever covered. There is no mercy rule in baseball at the collegiate level, D2 and D3, but the College of Staten Island, where I've called many games, no longer a part of the CUNYAC conference in either of those sports. However, the mercy rules remain the same. No mercy for baseball, and softball 8 runs through 5. Count now 3-1 with the bases loaded. Walk here makes it a 10-run game. That's fouled straight back. You never know when you're going to need pitching in a format like this. It becomes a bit easier once you've reached the semifinal. Looks like South Shore is going to improve to 2-0, so hopefully for them, they won't need as much pitching as that ball is crushed out of here. Grand slam home run. Vincenzo Lanni with a grand slam, and that puts an exclamation point on this inning. It is now 13-0 in favor of South Shore. 14 hits and 13 runs in this game, and for the second consecutive day, they have hit a grand slam home run, and what a shot it was. A no-doubter off the bat of the South Shore 5th place hitter. He left yesterday's game injured, comes back today and delivers a grand slam home run. What a blast. And that ball was hit so far out of here we couldn't see it leave. That cleared the center field wall by no less than 50 feet. What a shot by Lanni on the grand slam. And that's going to prompt a pitching change. Nate Van Dam will come in to pitch, as they're going to send a player to track down that baseball. Mercy rule could now be invoked in the next half inning. And as I was saying, you never know when you're going to need pitching. Obviously, South Shore in a great position where there's a possibility that their last game may not matter, depending on how many runs they allow. But if they don't allow many runs and lose, they'll be okay at 2-1. Won't have to worry. But we will see here what they do in the next half inning. I get the sense we'll probably see a pitcher we haven't seen yet. In this game now, I believe this is pitcher number 5 for Cornwall. Perhaps 6. But after the second pitching change, I no longer updated the positions as they shuffled around the defense in the field. And it made it very difficult on me for my perch out here in left. But off the bat, that was some shot on the grand slam by Lanny. When play resumes, Robert Esposito will be the batter. Esposito in this game is 1 for 2. With that grand slam, Lanny now 2 for 3 at the plate. He has 5 RBIs in the game. And with Esposito coming to the plate, South Shore has now batted around here in this 5th inning. And the first pitch thrown by Nate Van Dam hits him. So he's on base for the second time. 14 batters to the plate in this half inning now. And for the second consecutive day, South Shore has put together an absolute monster of an inning. That pitch misses. Count even at 1. Bad news for Cornwall, as has been pointed out in the live chat. Having allowed 13 runs now, they're going to need South Shore to do some scoring against Maine Endwell when they meet on Thursday. So that's a good point as well. This is certainly not what Cornwall was looking for in this inning. Obviously, you would have wanted a different result in the game. But given the fact that they were already behind, falling behind by this amount of runs really changes things moving forward and puts them in a nearly impossible position. However, there are still 2 teams that will be battling for the second spot, given the circumstances, as that's hit in the air, foul down the right field line and out of play. Will Cornwall be alive mathematically? Yes. Will they need some help? Absolutely. That's fouled away again. Now, we spoke about the practice of jinxing last night, and I don't think we're going to have that situation present itself. But should we, I'm not going to be the one to do it today, as that sails to the backstop, and runner will hold it first. Esposito not going anywhere. Count now full at 3-2. I don't know when this inning got started, but I remember pointing out the time as that pitch is taken for a called strike 3, and the top half of the 5th finally comes to an end. But I pointed out the time at about 10:15. And if we did not change innings after that point, that was nearly a 40-minute inning. As South Shore scores 10 times, they now lead it 13-0, heading to the home 5th.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from South Shore Little League, and now that the pitching change has been made, we can acknowledge the fact that, yes, we did have a no-hitter on the line entering this half inning. Now, perhaps I've jinxed it for the team collectively, as there are still no hits on the board, and a new pitcher is in the game. The new pitcher, Angelo Regina, takes over here in the bottom of the fifth. Huge lead for South Shore. And I nearly did it again. Diving stop at second. The throw is not in time. Guilty as charged. Cornwall is on the board with their first hit, and they have a leadoff base runner. It never fails. The team no-hitter is broken up with a leadoff single off the bat of Sage Caesar. He's on to open the home fifth. There's a swing and a miss by Tyler Moss for strike one. Should mention as well, when Anthony Conti took the field and headed out to center, he got a nice ovation from the South Shore contingent still here, and that is a very large group. The center field bleachers and the right center field bleachers packed. Not an open seat in the house. Standing room only. Plenty of that now. Not so earlier in the game. And you can make the case that we have been responsible for the end of 3 no-hitters in the last 24 hours. Now, my broadcast partners might take exception with me saying we, but I'm going to have to shift the blame for this one toward the chat. I saw a lot of no-hitter exclamations in the chat, but maybe some would argue only the commentator can jinx it. That pitch misses for a ball. Now, I'd like to know what everyone thinks about that. Can anyone in the live chat jinx it, or can only the commentator jinx it? There's a swing and a miss there. And that was strike 2, the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes here. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. First strikeout for Regina since entering the game. Moss goes down swinging for the second time, and there's one away. Now, they just announced Brendan Dwyer into the game. I had Kieran Purcell on deck. So some momentary confusion for me up here at the commentary desk. But perhaps because Purcell pitched, he's not hitting. That's it out to left, and the catch is made on the run. And that'll do it. So I missed an at-bat. That is my fault. The ball game is over. That's what I get for reading the live chat. And this game comes to an end with South Shore taking the win, 13-0, as we go final from South Shore Little League in our second game of the evening. 1 hit on the board tonight for Cornwall, 14 for South Shore as they put on a show for their supporters here at home. The chat in an uproar as I've jinxed yet another no-hitter. Truly incredible. 3 straight. Though, as I said, I may have to shift the blame for this one over to the live chat because they were talking about no-hitter quite a bit throughout the night. I was not the first to mention it, but nonetheless, still a great performance for the South Shore pitching staff. Perhaps only outdone by their bats here tonight as they strike for 13 runs and 14 hits. Cornwall does not score, just one hit for them. This was a back-and-forth close game for the first 3 innings. Both teams had opportunities with runners on base. Neither team was able to push home a run. That changed in the 4th. South Shore scored 3 times in that inning, and then they bat around and then some. In the 5th inning, they scored 10 times for the second time in an inning in as many days. What a job by them as they pick up the win tonight. Their second win in pool play. They have put themselves in a tremendous position heading into Thursday's action. They will take on Maine Endwell on Thursday. As for this Cornwall team, they will face Plainview on Thursday. Still slim hopes for them in terms of qualifying for the semifinal, but they'll probably know after the first game whether or not they have a chance. So that's something to watch if you're a fan of Cornwall. As we mentioned before, South Shore would have to score quite a few runs now against Maine Endwell to give Cornwall any chance of qualifying for a spot in the semifinals. So be sure to tune in on Thursday to catch more play from this pool. On Thursday, I will be on the call with my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona, who is in the live chat right now. He will join me on Thursday at Great Kills. However, tomorrow, I will be joined at Great Kills once again by my PDF Sportsnet colleague, David Pizzuto. He and I will have the call for the skills competitions and for the home run derby tomorrow over at Great Kills Little League. That gets underway in just 10 hours tomorrow at 9 a.m., originally scheduled for 10. It is now going to be a 9 a.m. start tomorrow from Great Kills Little League. So until then, this has been Joe Foreman. I want to thank everyone who stuck with me all night long. I've been calling these games solo, engineering solo. Had a great time here at South Shore, and I'll be right back at it tomorrow morning over at Great Kills for the Home Run Derby and Skills Competition. Be sure to tune in for that if you can't make it. And, of course, all of the games we've covered throughout the first 2 days here in the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship, available on demand at PDF Sportsnet on YouTube. You can check those games out anytime. And I have a feeling just a few players from that South Shore team will be heading home and pulling up YouTube on their phones, checking out some highlights from tonight's action. Join us tomorrow and the rest of the week here on PDF. Everyone, have a good night.